Yes, it is that. Wait, you've heard of me?
Yeah, you're the villain from Godzilla NES.
Wait a minute. So you don't hate it?
Wait, hated it? No. It's a little lengthy, but it's not a bad story. I don't know who told you that. Because I didn't post it in my top 6 list? I read that story months after the list came out.
Well, shit. I can't really kill a fan of my work. Damn it. Very well, I shall take my leave.
Wow, is that it?
Maybe so. By the font's coming after us. I think it's time we take care of something. Alright. Toucha, getting the 3DS. Alright, now I just put this over here. And I'll just put this on the wheel and go to town.
Why are you doing this?
Hey, this is one of the ways you can evolve, Toucha. I'll check up on you in a little bit. Till then, I've got part 7 to do.
Whenever Pokemon comes out with a new generation, some of the fans will always find a normal type Pokemon that you get at the beginning of the game and hate on it for either having bland designs, poor stats, or see its only use as an HM slave. Gen 1 had Raticate, which I already talked about. Gen 2 had Furret. Gen 3 had Lanoon/Delcatty. Gen 4 had Bibarel. Gen 5 had Watchog, and Gen 6 has Diggersby. Now, it's fine if you don't like these Pokemon, but to say that they're only used as an HM slave is far from the truth. To me, every Pokemon is made for a reason, and this next entry proves it. I just love this Pokemon. Sure, it's a pain to catch, but using it in a battle is worth it. At least after Gen 5, but I'll get back to that in a second. Based on Silket Deer, I love its design. Sure, it may have that pug-like face, but it's not that bad. Plus, some people do like pugs. In battle, Stantler is an all-out attacker, but it can also be a good physical sweeper with its 85 base speed stat. But despite its good physical and special attack stats and speed, the rest of its stats are okay. But what helps Stantler is its moveset and ability. Its moveset, like other normal types, is pretty big and diverse, and can also deal with its weaknesses to fighting with moves like Bounce. As for his abilities, Intimidate lowers the opponent's attack when released onto the field, Frisk checks the opponent's item, and Sap Sipper boosts Stantler's already high attack stat when hit by a grass-type move. It's mainly Sap Sipper for why Stantler's so high on this list. Because of this ability, Stantler goes from meh to badass in the NU tier, and I love it. This thing kicks some serious ass in Showdown when set up correctly. Too bad its anime and manga appearances were shit. One of the ways you could get a Pokemon back in the first generation was through reviving fossils. Unlike the Bastiodon entry though, this next entry is a fossil Pokemon from the first generation. The last fossil Pokemon on this list. This Pokemon is awesome! Based on a Aerodactyl, Aerodactyl's design looks badass. It would be awesome to ride this thing into battle, and yet it's taller than Charizard. What the hell? In battle, Aerodactyl is a great physical sweeper with the fastest speed of all rock types under its belt, and really great physical attack. What also helps Aerodactyl is its ability, Rockhead, which negates recoil damage. Pressure and Unnerve are okay, but it pales in comparison to Rockhead. However, its type of Rock and Flying gives it 5 weaknesses, and its special attack stat is not as great as its physical attack, but I still like Aerodactyl. It has a badass design, it's awesome in battle, and it's a great fossil Pokemon to use on your team in that generation. So what did we get in Gen 6? A freaking T-Rex and an adorable Ice and Rock Dinosaur. Speaking of Gen 6, Aerodactyl also got a Mega Evolution, and it kinda looks like it's trying too hard to be a Noivern. Yeah, this was totally worth making a Mega Stone for, instead of getting something cool like a Mega Flagon, a Mega Delcatty, or Mega Evolving the Jonas-Stars. I think I'm rambling again. Time for another Gen 1 entry. Known as the legendary Pokemon, Arcanine may be another entry from Generation 1, and some of you may ask why it's higher than Aerodactyl, but let me explain why. First off, its design. Arcanine looks like a badass, and based on either lion, dogs, or tigers, it also looks cute. Though, considering that it's a fire type, and its inspiration for the design, it does give me a crossover idea. In competitive play, Arcanine is a physical attacker. With a 110 base physical attack stat and a move pool that supports that stat, you get a pretty strong fire type to use in the first generation. I also love its abilities Justified and Flash Fire. Justified raises its attack stat by 1 stage when hit by a dark type move, and Flash Fire boosts Arcanine's special attack stat if someone uses a fire type attack on it. There's also Intimidate, which can lower an opponent's attack stat, but I just like the other two abilities better. It also had a pretty good appearance in the manga and anime. Gary had an Arcanine, and it was pretty good, and in Pokemon Adventures, Crystal had an Arcanine. Plus, I also liked its history with Crystal. It was more interesting than their other Pokemon. If you read bits and pieces of the Crystal chapters, you may be wondering, why does Crystal kick her Pokeballs to release her Pokemon? Well, in her youth, Arcanine was partially responsible in breaking her arm. Yes, I'm serious, that actually happened. So, wait a minute. This is okay to show to American audiences, but slapping a person is a big no-no? Screw you, Viz. This next entry is another Gen 1 Pokemon. Known as the Megaton Pokemon, Golem is a Pokemon that can survive dynamite explosion with its tough skin. I call him a terrorist's mortal enemy. In battle, Golem is a supporter. With a base 130 physical defense stat and a base 110 physical attack stat, Golem can set up entry hazards and take hits, as long as it's not against these types. Actually, I take that back. If Golem has the sturdy ability, then it will survive getting one hit KO'd if it has full health. But its other ability, Rockhead, is pretty good too, and helps Golem's already great attack stat in battle. As for Sandvale, you evasion claws. Because of Golem's stats and supporting move pool, I always try to get my hands on a Geodude early on in the second generation. Overall, Golem is a great Pokemon to use. It has great stats, a great move pool, an awesome design, and it helped me so much during my run of Johto. It may not be the best supporter, but its great attack stat can help against threats like Whitney's Stake. Now if you excuse me. In the third generation of Pokemon, there is an abandoned ship near Dewford Town. Who sunk it? Probably this guy. Propelling themselves to the number 16 spot is the Gen 5 Pokemon Jellicent. Based on a jellyfish, Jellicent definitely looks threatening, with no mouth for the male one, blank eyes, and those tentacles. Female one does look a little better though, but it'll still kill you if you venture into its habitat. I've heard of deadly women, but this is ridiculous! By the way, is it just me or does the male one look like the Pringles mascot? In battle, Jellicent has a unique typing of Ghost and Water, which gives Jellicent 4 weaknesses, 2 immunities, and 6 resistances. As for stats, Jellicent has a really good special defense stat and great HP. Plus, it has great special attack as well. And with its move pool supporting that stat, Jellicent can take hits and fight back hard. I also love its abilities Cursed Body and Water Absorb. Water Absorb heals Jellicent if your opponent uses a water type attack on you, making it a great switch in, and Cursed Body has a 30% chance to disable any moves that hit Jellicent. I may not be the biggest fan of the Ghost type, but Gen 5 did a really great job with this typing. Well done, Unova. You made me love this typing with your Chandelier and Pringles. In the third generation, we got the Snorunt line. It had a pretty unique design and decent battle properties, but I just didn't care about it compared to the Walrein line. What? Feels cute, and Snorunt's not so much, and don't even get me started on Glalie design. Oh, what's this, a Dawnstone? Wait, Snorunt can evolve with this? Let's use it! If you couldn't tell, I freaking love Froslass. But where do I start? How about its design? It looks so sleek and elegant, kind of like a Generation 4 version of Gardevoir. It also looks very mysterious with those eyes. What could it be hiding? Well, Froslass is based on the Yuki Onna, a female ice spirit from Japanese lore, and that creature is sometimes portrayed as a sadist. And Froslass can freeze foes with an icy breath that's around minus 60 degrees Fahrenheit. That's really creepy. Still sounds more interesting than cupcakes, though. In battle, Froslass is designed to set up entry hazards. How, you ask? That's speed. For an ice type, that's pretty fast. This does mean that you should probably give Froslass a Focus Sash, but it's not that bad. Sure, Glalie and Froslass may have the same base stat total, but I just like Froslass's stats better. It's distributed a little bit better than 80 across the board. I don't really care about its abilities though, and those weaknesses don't help either, but it's still a good Pokemon to me nonetheless. I also love its anime appearance, where it kicked ass and brought the chills to Ash and his friends. I love Froslass, and if you had to ask me what my favorite Ghost-type Pokemon is, it would be this one. The design, the fear it gives off, its battle properties, I just love everything about it. It may be number 15, but if this was focused on Ghost-type Pokemon, it would be number 1. But since I'm not that big of a fan of Ghost types compared to the other types on this list, let's move on. This next Pokemon is my second favorite flying type out there next to Togekiss. It may not have the great stats Togekiss has, but it has a really good appearance in the anime, great design, and it was really useful during my run of the first 2 generations. Ladies and gentlemen, Pidgeot. Oh yes, I went there. But where do I start with Pidgeot? How about its design? Pidgeot's design looks awesome. With its wings spread out, the feathers on its head, and that look on its face, it looks like it's ready to kick some ass for its trainer. In the anime, Ash got a Pidgeotto early on, and it kicked ass. This was one of Ash's best Pokemon in his run through the Kanto region. It was strong, it was very loyal, it had some great battles, and I just enjoyed it when Pidgeotto was on screen. When it evolved, it took on a freaking Fearow and won! Plus, before evolving, it tried to get a flock of Pidgey away despite being injured. It takes a lot of guts to save someone first before thinking of yourself, and that's another reason I love Pidgeot. Later, Ash released Pidgeot to protect the Pidgeys from another Fearow attack, and vowed to return once he was done with the Orange Islands. Still hasn't happened. But you know what? I'm not going to complain too much about it because Pidgeot's out there protecting its own kind, and that deserves some serious respect. Speaking of defending, Blue also owns one in the manga, and it protects the Viridian City Gym when Blue is away. As for competitive play, it's not that great. Yeah, I will fully admit that although I liked using it in the main game, competitive-wise, Pidgeot's not that great. But Pidgeot isn't here because of his use in competitive play. It's mainly the appearance in the anime, the design, and my experience with Pidgeot in the first 2 generations. In the first 2 generations, Pidgeot was very useful in dealing with opponents, and with its move pool supporting its stats, it could deal with annoying opponents too. I wish it could serve more of a use in competitive play, but I guess you can't always win. I wish there was more to talk about, but that's about it. I like Pidgeot, but not enough to get any higher. But thanks for the memories, Pidgeot. Known as the sleeping Pokemon, Snorlax just spends its days sleeping and eating. Nothing more, nothing less. This is also why in some games Snorlax is just lazing around, blocking a route, and you have to use an instrument to wake him up. In battle, Snorlax is a special wall. With a high HP stat and great physical/special defense stats, it can take hits from special moves, and with its moveset supporting that physical attack stat, it can also hit hard. Did I mention I love multitasking? What also helps Snorlax's special defense stat is the ability Thick Fat, which boosts Snorlax's resistance to fire and ice type moves. Its other 2 abilities are decent as well, but to me it's not as good as Thick Fat. I also loved Ash's Snorlax in the anime. Like its game personality, Snorlax is very lazy and will often laze around and eat like crazy, but it's also very kind to its friends and trainer, which is kind of funny because Snorlax is supposedly based off teddy bears. However, it is very strong in battle, taking on opponents like Feraligatr and even Medicham. It was a goddamn beast! And it was awesome to see Snorlax assist Ash in his battles, even if he's not on his main team anymore. In Part 1, I talked about Samurott. In Part 5, I talked about Superior. In Part 7, it's time to conclude the Unova starters by talking about Emboar. No, you're not seeing things. This is an opposite day or a list of worst Pokemon. I legitimately like Emboar. Is the typing original? No. But it's still an awesome Pokemon nonetheless. First off, its design. It's a giant pig with a fire beard. That is freaking awesome. And if it's true, it can make its own bacon. And I love me some bacon. I'm pretty sure someone out there just made a joke about my weight, but I don't give a shit. I also like its typing of fire and fighting. I did say earlier that it's unoriginal, but that doesn't mean I can't like this typing. Not only do I like fighting-type Pokemon, but fire is my favorite of the 4 elements. So when I see these 2 types together, I get hyped. In competitive play, Emboar is a strong attacker. Combine that with a huge move pool that supports both its physical and special attack stats, and Emboar can be a real threat in the battlefield, especially against walls. If you hated Bacon before, you're gonna hate it even more when you fight this fire pig. I also love Emboar's Dream World ability Reckless, which increases the power of recoil moves such as Flare Blitz and Wild Charge by 20%. That is really cool, and it makes Emboar even more powerful, which is always a plus. Hey, if they made Blaziken broken with Speed Boost and Mega Blaziken, I believe Emboar should get a little boost as well. Emboar was really useful in my run of Unova, defeating Lenora, Berg, Bryson, and even Drayden, the Elite Four and the Champion. Although Superior was my first starter in Gen 5, Emboar to me was better. It may not be a jack of all trades, but it got the job done a lot better than either Samurott or Superior. Hell, before I got Tepig, I heard so much hate coming from fans about this starter, but using it and watching it kick ass brought a smile to my face. It may not be an original, it may have its weaknesses, and it does have bad speed. But if a Pokemon can provide me with this much joy in battle, then I think it's worth the number 12 spot on the list. So what is my favorite Unova Pokemon on this list? Well, let me kill 2 birds with 1 stone and show you my favorite Dark-type Pokemon as well. If this is the last Unova Pokemon on this list, I am glad it's Krookodile. Based on the Baryonyx, which is a fish-eating crocodile-like dinosaur, Krookodile screams the word badass. That stance, those eyes, that smirk! It looks like it's ready to rip some heads and enjoy it. In battle, Krookodile is for the most part a revenge killer, with its 92 base speed stat and base 117 physical attack stat. But if you think that's it for Krookodile, then think again. Krookodile also has the Moxie ability, which boosts Krookodile's attack stat when it KOs a Pokemon. So if this kills, say, 4 Pokemon, you're probably going to get wrecked by this Krookodile unless your Pokemon has better speed. But Krookodile does have another ability that makes it a threat in battle. Aside from Intimidate, which lowers your opponent's attack when Krookodile is sent out, and Moxie, Krookodile also has its Dream World ability Anger Point, which maxes out the attack stat after Krookodile takes a critical hit. I also love its typing of Dark and Ground, because as of Gen 6, excluding possible Mega Evolutions, the only Pokemon to have this typing is the Krookodile line, and that makes it pretty unique from the rest. Sure, its defenses aren't that great, and that typing does give it 6 weaknesses, but I still love to use this thing in battle. When it works, it really works, and honestly, I would rather have a weakness to Krookodile than have it be goddamn broken. So aside from its battle properties, what else do I like about Krookodile? How about a reason to make me like Ash as a trainer? I freaking love Ash's Krookodile. Starting off as a Sandile, Sandile started following Ash and friends after they saved the Pokemon near a resort after a geyser was about to erupt. This might have been because Sandile gained respect for Ash, but it could also be because the anime was trying to reuse the recurring Jigglypuff from the first few seasons, but with a Gen 5 Pokemon. He made a few appearances to battle Pikachu, but Sandile was quickly beaten. Later on in the series, Sandile would evolve into Krokorok and join Ash's team to kick even more ass. Plus, I love those shades. Around the Meloetta arc, Krokorok would evolve again during Ash's match with Iris's Dragonite, and what's the first thing it does? It punches the Dragonite in the face! Fuck yeah! Where's your immunity now, Dragonite? Ha! You got your ass beat by a crocodile! But for the time Krookodile was on screen, I really enjoyed it. He kicked ass, he was strong, he was smart, and he was also very caring during some points, such as when he tried to save a group of wild Pokemon from the previously mentioned geyser. Overall, I love Krookodile. It's great in battle, I love its appearance in the anime, and I just love to use it when I go through Unova. So yeah, that's it for this part. So for those that are excited to see the final part of this top 80, stay tuned. Part 8's gonna be a big one.
Okay, that's taken care of, so let me just close that up, and alright.
I could have done without the motion sickness, but what?
See, I told you you'd evolve.
Look, I appreciate it's evolving, but couldn't you have found a better method? Whatever.
Alright, so Fawn's coming. It's time to implement Operation Green Candle. Brokey, get me my candle. Alright, Fawn, it's time to settle this once and for all. You wanna come at me? You're gonna get it.
So it seems Slendy failed to stop the Mountie. Oh well, it's time for me and Perry to take this guy's head. Stupid Brokey, you are a useless traitor! When I am down with the Mountie Chief, you will be next!